John,
Right,
set the
go
scene
back
for
a
it.
bit.
So, you remember last week, I've been trying to go on and on about education moving online, that sort of thing, and you are more concerned with the situation of students who haven't chosen to go online, such as yourself, for example.
Yeah, well...
Because there are a lot of
See, I don't
pressures
think-
going
I
on at this
don't-
time.
I suppose I am doing a course, but I'm not doing a course at the university level.
No.
So I'm nowhere near, I'm not even on a comparison of any bright student, of course.
No, but you've got the...
No, yeah,
you can sympathise with the situation.
yeah, I understand it, but if you understand what I mean, I wouldn't be considered as a particularly bright person, and I don't consider myself a particularly bright person. I just about know what's going on, and that's about it, and that's being deadly honest.
But if you're doing a course in functional English.
Yeah, I'm doing a course in functional English, and I'm doing pretty well at it, but I can't say I'm really enjoying it, to be honest, because it's all supposed to be, or it appears to be pretending to be, even I would go as far as saying, to be conducted over Zoom, when that's a insult and everything to people. Because Zoom was not designed as a online learning platform, and I don't see how students can be expected to work on Zoom. I mean, I've been told by a good source of mine that university lecturers have been informed that students are only capable of working on Zoom for an hour. So that means lectures have to be shorter. Even so, yeah, I was also having a conversation with somebody else who they just walked in here just before, and he thinks it's dreadful that university students, the amount of support they're getting for the amount of money they're paying is dreadful, and I would agree.
This is where John, I want to move off into fiction.
No, but you want to move off into fiction. But I would agree. I mean, if I don't care, I'm going to say what I want to say.
Yes, okay.
I think it's important to discuss it, and I'm going to discuss it.
Okay.
I want to say it to the audience. If it was me coming to university, no matter in what capacity, whether it was, at the age I am now, or it was at 16, or well, it wouldn't be at 16, would it? It would have been at 18. Let's just say 18, for example. In coronavirus was run then, and I had to work online all the time. If that was me and I paid £30,000 in student fees, I would have been very, very disappointed with having to work online full time, and it's absolutely dreadful, and I feel very sorry for the students. But I don't think they should have been coming back and being expected to work online for the amount of time that they are, and it's just not on. And if it was me, I would be very, very disappointed for the amount of money I was paying, and I would even go as far as making a complaint and to the government and asking for my money back. But that's just me, and I do feel very, very sorry for the students, because they are missing out on a university experience, and it's completely dreadful. And may I remind the government, if any governmental bodies are listening, Zoom was not an education platform, and you could say it's all right some of the time, and it's all right for some things, but it's not an education platform. Just say so. It makes the online learning experience even worse than it would be on a real online learning platform. But I wouldn't ever say any online learning experience is that great. I would always opt to go to a lecture or a class, because no online learning experience will replace the use of a human being tutor. Now, when now I've finished raving on about the government, Will can talk about fiction. So I'm going to hand over to Will Cybernet on GB, the man who panics. He's been sat there for the last 10 minutes with a worrying, unsure, panicky look on his face. So I'll let him come in now and talk about fiction. To Will.
Okay. Yes. Well, I think there's a lot of issues which are best dealt with as fiction because there's things
because Will doesn't want to be seen as causing any trouble. He just wants to walk along the street, have a good nose at everyone, see what's going wrong in the world, and then when things get heated, he wants to go away from it. He doesn't like to stand up and say anything. He gets quite concerned. He wants to be a kind of journalistic person in the background, but he doesn't want to stand up and say anything to anybody particularly about it, but he just wants to walk around and see what's going on, which I can't blame him to a degree.
No, well, and also there's sort of forms of journalism where if nobody's responding to your questions, you might as well be a bit more indirect. You might
as well be a bit more direct, and if nobody's responded to your question, that old saying, why do they, if nobody's responded to your question, why take staff on anyway? This society is getting more and 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 more online than ever before. So this is very sad for the cafes, for HMV, for many other lovely stores that are available in the town, and I think that's the same for most city centres. And when I was growing up, there used to be some lovely shops like MVC, what's it called, the video club?
Yeah. Well, you're getting. I am going to interrupt you because we'll come back to this bit.
No, but for everybody who doesn't know, I used to love that. I used to love that shop.
John, can we get to that in a moment or two?
Well, yes, but I used to go in there every Friday afternoon. It used to be wonderful. It did, and I used to love it.
Yeah.
And I used to go in there and have a look at all their wonderful CDs, all their wonderful DVDs. I used to love that. I used to pest them. I used to go on and on and on and on at my mum about going into NBC every Friday after school, and then NBC disappeared, so I went to HMV by the McDonald's on the way to South Street.
Oh, that HMV.
That HMV, the original HMV, as I like to call it, the one in Bedford Square is just a bigger version, but the original HMV I used to like. Probably I used to like it because they had all what I wanted, because it was more of a DVD market, even though DVDs are still available. Don't get me wrong, but it's there used to be much more video shops, and there used to be more of a community spirit in town. I think because being online, it was around in my day. Don't get me wrong, I used to hear about the internet, but you didn't see all these people walking around with their heads in their phones and with earphones in their ears, walking along in a doze listening to me. Now it's all gone. That's mainly because you can, the internet revolution has got worse. It's got bigger.
Or better.
Has it got better? You could say better, but don't say better just to make it seem like it's okay.
John, you see, what I'm trying to do is to draw out the conflict in the situation.
No, but I can understand. I can understand the conflict, Will. But you're 70 years old, right?
Yes, that's true.
However old you are,
70 and a bit.
You get on quite well on a computer. But I know some old people your age that don't know how to even turn a computer on.
Yeah,
so you imagine them. So anyway.
Well, they've probably got a radio.
So you're just assuming that you don't know.
Oh well, no. Right.
And anyway, no, I'm just saying the town shopping experience still exists to a degree, but most of the time people will go online and get what they want offline. the spirit, the shops in town are slowly disappearing, but cafes, there are still shops available, don't get me wrong, just so I can't be collared by my colleague, but I'm going to hand over to him now and let him talk about fiction.
Right, okay. Well, I'm going to edit this conversation into a logical order. That's to say, the order I first thought of.
Why?
Because you've dealt with some of the points not in the order I was expecting.
Right, okay, well...
So that was my logic.
What... See, my colleague could have... Now he's starting me off on another run. My colleague could have said that when a song was playing or something. Why say it to the audience?
Well, I'm just explaining to the audience what I'm now about to say, which is that I'm doing a course, a MOOC. I'm doing a MOOC, which I'm going to say is about script writing. It's about finding my voice as a playwright.
Right.
And this week it's about the opening scene.
But do you actually know how to do the course?
Well, yeah, I think we've already done the opening scene, John, last week, because the main body of the work is based on walking about Central Exeter, looking at what used to be record shops. And
what are you talking about? How are you doing a MOOC like that?
Well, the MOOC is about being a playwright, but I'm looking at it as a script writing thing.
Okay.
Or an outline of something. I mean, we don't actually have a script for radio, do we? The way we do it.
No. Although we could have a script, but we
could have a script. We don't have a script.
Mm.
We have an outline, perhaps. We have a sort of plan, a design. If the producer turns up, he will talk about design. This is why he normally turns up in the middle of something.
I'm sure Will, he's listening, and I'm sure he's listening and thinking,
well, anyway, can I go back to where I was...
I'm sure if you're listening, JD, I'm sure you're thinking, get on with some music.
No, he's not thinking. All right, I'll be quick.
Okay.
I'll be quick, John.
Okay,
right. Okay. So, the main substance of the play is people walking about in Central Exeter or somewhere else, looking at where the record shops used to be and asking the question, what's happening with education? How much space do we really need? And so it's a provocative sort of direction, the main substance of it. But the start of it, which we did last week, is somebody comes on and says it's going to be a wonderful play. I've written a play and we're going to have guests. And then somebody else says, well, the guests won't turn up and none of your plays ever work out and things like that, John. So that's second role I'm trying to interest you in.
Well, yeah, but they're not. Don't get me wrong. Are the audience aware that it's all fiction you're talking about?
Yes, it's all fiction.
Yeah, but
we would welcome guests.
I'm saying the audience are aware of that, are they?
Well, you keep telling them, John.
Well, I know, but the thing is, I think they have a right to know.
They have a right to know, but I'm trying to be on a course about writing plays. So the fact that you think it's fiction that's a positive thing.
Right.
My reviews are starting out well. And if
Well,
you said
anyway.
there's nothing like fiction, I wouldn't be doing that good a job, would I?
Okay, fine. Right, we've had your 5 minutes of rabbling on.
Okay.
Now
we're
we're
going to
going
play another track.
Now we're going to play Savage Garden Affirmation. Here it is on Phonic FM 106.8 FM. Here it goes.